Arcane took 6 years to create. To put this into perspective, 2015 was the year Baltz got his pentakill at Worlds, and it was also Faker's only second appearance at Worlds so far. And for those who aren't recovering LoL addicts, this is the year that Star Wars The Force Awakens came out in cinemas, and also the year that the Hotline Bling meme was goddamn everywhere. 6 years is a long time, especially in a world that is seemingly moving faster and faster as time progresses. So this kind of time investment speaks volumes about the amount of passion, effort, and just pure dedication to excellence behind Arcane. Arcane is an all-around absolute masterpiece. The art is unbelievable, the music is moving, and the story is captivating. But I think its biggest strength is that despite being animated and despite being set in a fantasy world, Arcane manages to feel so intimate and so human. Show don't tell is probably the most quintessential advice for any storyteller. And despite everyone being aware of this doctrine, a lot of anime absolutely shit on this rule. Anime seems to have contracted some kind of chronic disease that compels it to explain every motivation, every situation, and every damn emotion, which leads to an often shallow and passive viewing experience. Don't get me wrong, some of the shows I love to death are big offenders of this. So after a while, you grow accustomed to this way of storytelling and don't even notice anymore that it is happening. This is why, to me, watching Arcane felt weirdly quiet. Piltover and Zaun are detailed, busy, and feel like places that are lived in. No matter where you look, there are small things that will help you piece together the everyday lives of the inhabitants of these places, as well as details fleshing out the interests and the personalities of our main cast. However, none of this information is given verbally. And this is why Arcane is a masterclass when it comes to visual storytelling. It lives and breathes the mantra of show don't tell. Just think about the very first sequence of the series. Not a single word is spoken, but it establishes backstory, character relationships, and motivations in approximately 3 minutes, which is bonkers. That's the time it takes to remake a game when your teammate is AFK. Now there was a scene in Arcane that almost started a heated argument between my girlfriend and I while we were watching the show. It's this one.
I'm with you.
Why am I bringing this one up? Well, just look at her eye movement. I immediately thought this signified Mel's lack of interest or his sort of guilty conscience towards Jace and what he was saying. For my girlfriend, this gesture was simply one of trying to remember something, the kind of eye movement we do when we have to think hard. While I have to begrudgingly admit that she's probably right on this one, the fact that someone took the effort to plant this detail in the character's face is astonishing. And it's this scene that made me realize why Arcane feels so quiet compared to other anime. The facial expressions and body language are animated so superbly that characters don't need to shout, squeal, or unnaturally over-exaggerate any other parts of their body language in order to express emotions. For example, this scene. Without telling you anything more about this character, you'd be able to tell that he's boastful and cocky beyond his true capabilities. Here, in just a split moment, we can see the longing and addiction in his face. And furthermore, we can predict the eventual betrayal that follows soon after. These kinds of subtle, understated details are what add an organic and human touch to the characters you see on screen. Another prolific example of this can be found in any work by Hayao Miyazaki. Just think of Chihiro tapping her feet to make sure her shoes are all snug, or the way characters have certain quirks when they run. This alone doesn't make characters feel human though, and that's where the writing of the show gets to shine. Human beings by nature are flawed and deeply irrational, which applies to every character in the show. The good guys can be selfish, backstabbing, and cruel, while the bad guys can be selfless, loyal, and kind. Silco's unconditional love and acceptance of Jinx is beautiful and heartwarming. Victor's quest for power is twisted and dangerous. Jace betraying Heimerdinger is contrasted by the loyalty of Civica. You see, no one in the show is even close to perfect, but that's precisely what makes them so relatable. And I'm sure there are characters in the show that remind you of people in your own life. All of these things make the show feel stunningly human. It's as if we're watching regular people who just happen to also live in a fantasy world. That's why the moments that need to hit emotionally hit so damn hard, why the dialogue is so compelling, and why this show has been able to appeal to people all over the globe. It's honestly been a while since I felt this excited for new episodes of a show, and while I can't wait for season 2, I hope Riot and Fetish take as much time as they need. You're happy with what you've done, Riot? You happy? I'm cripplingly addicted to League of Legends again.
And I'm fucking addicted!